When people hear the name Cristiano Ronaldo, they see trophies, mansions, private jets, and a life too big for ordinary hearts. But what they don't see is the one chapter he couldn't keep under control, the chapter named Irina Shayk. Before Georgina, there was a Russian queen who walked the runways while he conquered the football world. And for a moment, it looked like they were about to rule it together. Back in 2010, Ronaldo was at the peak of his unstoppable rise. He'd just taken over Madrid. The world's eyes were fixed on him, and every goal he scored made him larger than life. And Irina, she wasn't just another model, she was the model. A Victoria's Secret angel, Sports Illustrated's dream cover, the kind of beauty that didn't need permission to own the spotlight. They met during a luxury shoot for Armani Exchange, 2 stars, too bright to share a frame, yet the camera couldn't get enough. Neither could they. The first time they were spotted together, the tabloids went wild. Europe had its new golden couple, football's king and fashion's queen. For a while, they seemed perfect. Jet-setting to secret beaches in the Maldives, celebrating trophies in Madrid's elite clubs, walking hand in hand at Cannes, Monaco, Paris. The world watched them glow. Every award Ronaldo lifted, Irina was there, smiling, clapping, a silent reminder that even the most powerful man in football wanted someone to come home to, and she looked perfect for the part. Poised, glamorous, untouchable. But fairy tales rarely survive the cameras. People close to Ronaldo whispered that Irina didn't fit into his tight family circle. His mother, Dolores, has always been more than just a mother. She's the quiet force behind Ronaldo's empire. Some say Irina refused to play along. When she didn't show up at Dolores's birthday, the Portuguese gossip machine exploded. How could Ronaldo's queen miss his mother's big day? Then there were the shadows, rumors that Ronaldo was sending private messages to other women. That behind Irina's back he was the same old playboy he'd always been. Some claimed she knew, but chose silence because the brand Irina was too big to fail. But Irina was never the kind to pretend for long. She built her empire on her own. She didn't need to be Mrs. Ronaldo to stay in the headlines. By the start of 2015, the cracks were too big to hide. Ronaldo won his 3rd Ballon d'Or, but Irina wasn't there. No proud girlfriend standing next to him, no kisses for the cameras. Just a cold smile that didn't exist. Paparazzi knew before the fans did. This was the end. Irina's team released a quiet statement. No dramatic interviews, no blaming him, no tears on TV. She walked away the way she arrived, unbothered, untouchable. Some say she found messages on his phone. Some say she was done fighting a mother-in-law she never signed up for. Others say she wanted her own freedom, and loving Ronaldo meant sacrificing it every single day. Ronaldo, for once, had no words. He kept playing, kept scoring, kept smiling for the cameras. But friends close to him always say, Irina was the only woman who could stand shoulder to shoulder with him and not feel small. After her, it was all flings, rumors, shadows, until Georgina walked into that Gucci store. Some believe Georgina brought him peace Irina never could. Others believe Georgina is who he settled for when the real queen walked out. Today, Irina's name is rarely spoken in Ronaldo's world, but her shadow lingers. She built her own empire after him, bigger, better, without him. A reminder that some women are storms. They come, they break you, and they leave you strong enough to pretend they never did. Somewhere behind those perfect family Instagram posts, maybe Ronaldo still remembers those nights on his yacht, those red carpets at Cannes, that Russian laugh that once made the world believe even a superstar needs saving sometimes. And maybe he wonders if Irina had stayed, would life be better? Or was this heartbreak the price he had to pay for the love story he now shows the world? The cameras have moved on, but the question never really does. Cristiano Ronaldo has always been a man the cameras chase. But there was a night in Las Vegas when the king of football met the queen of Hollywood tabloids, and for a few wild nights, the world's most famous athlete and the world's most notorious party girl gave the paparazzi a story they're still trying to piece together. It was summer 2009. Ronaldo had just sealed one of the biggest transfers football had ever seen. Manchester United's golden boy was now Real Madrid's new king. He was rich, unstoppable, and for the first time, truly free from the old rules. And when you're young, rich, and unstoppable, you go to Vegas, and in Vegas, there was only one queen who could match Ronaldo's brand of reckless sparkle. Paris Hilton. At that time, Paris wasn't just a celebrity, she was celebrity. Long before Instagram influencers sold fake dreams, Paris Hilton invented the art of being famous for being famous. The reality shows, the parties, the scandals. She didn't just live in the spotlight, she was the spotlight. And when she spotted Cristiano Ronaldo in a Vegas club that summer night, it wasn't just a meeting, it was a collision the gossip world could only dream of. They met at My House nightclub, hidden behind velvet ropes, with champagne that costs more than most people's rent. Ronaldo, fresh off his record-breaking Real Madrid signing, walked in surrounded by friends, but all eyes were on him and hers. They didn't speak the same language fluently, but they didn't need to. A glance, a laugh, a spark, it was all they needed. By midnight, they were inseparable. They danced in corners too dark for paparazzi lenses but too bright for rumors to hide. Paris leaned in close, whispered things into his ear that made him grin like a reckless teenager. Ronaldo, who always played it cool around women, seemed hypnotized by her. For once, he wasn't the star, he was just a boy pulled into her neon world. That night didn't end at the club. Cameras caught them slipping into Paris's black SUV. Her mansion in Beverly Hills was waiting, the same mansion that had seen 1,000 scandals, 1,000 secrets. Inside those walls, Ronaldo wasn't the world's greatest footballer, he was just another name added to the list of Paris's conquests. Or maybe she was his, depends who you ask. The next morning, the pictures were everywhere. Ronaldo, shirt half open, stepping out into the sun with a smile that said everything and nothing. Paris, hiding behind giant sunglasses, pretending not to care that her night had just made headlines from LA to Lisbon. The tabloids exploded. Was it a fling, a PR stunt, something real? For Ronaldo, it was probably freedom, a chance to live like a rock star. No football managers, no training camps, just champagne and the queen of scandals whispering his name in a city that doesn't remember scenes. But for Paris, it was something else. Paris Hilton didn't date to settle down, she dated to stay on top. Every story, every rumor, every new headline, it was all oxygen for her brand. And Ronaldo, he was the biggest brand Europe had to offer. Two unstoppable forces using each other to stay relevant, to stay untouchable. Some say Ronaldo fell harder than people think. Friends whispered he called her from Madrid when the new season started, late at night, wanting her in Spain. Some say he invited her to come watch him play at the Santiago Bernabeu, where the kings of football become legends. Paris never went. Maybe she didn't care. Maybe she knew that with Ronaldo, she was never going to be the main story, not for long. Because while Ronaldo's life was about discipline, trophies, legacy, Paris's life was about chaos. She thrived on messy nights and whispered secrets. Ronaldo thrived on clean stats and perfect image control. Their worlds touched, but they could never really merge. For him, Paris was a taste of wildness he'd never fully admit. For her, Ronaldo was a souvenir, proof that even Europe's golden boy couldn't resist the glow of a Hollywood bad girl. When they drifted apart, there were no press releases, no awkward statements. Paris moved on to the next party, the next billionaire. Ronaldo moved on to the next goal, the next trophy, the next woman. But for a brief moment, two of the most talked about names on the planet wrote a tiny, unforgettable chapter together. A chapter that still flickers in blurry nightclub photos and gossip blogs that refuse to die. Years later, when people ask Paris about Ronaldo, she laughs it off. She's been with rock stars, actors, princes, what's one footballer in a list of 1,000? But for Ronaldo, maybe it was different. Maybe Paris reminded him that even the most disciplined legend needs to feel reckless sometimes. That even perfection needs a night in Vegas to get lost. He found Georgina not long after. A different world, a different love, a different kind of woman. Loyal, quiet, a mother to his children, the queen of his carefully curated family empire. But for those who remember, there will always be that snapshot, Cristiano Ronaldo. Young, tanned, wild-eyed, stepping into a black SUV with Paris Hilton, a moment where the world's biggest footballer let Hollywood steal him for a night. And maybe, just maybe, that's why we're still talking about it all these years later. Cristiano Ronaldo has never needed help to make headlines. But in the summer of 2010, his name crossed oceans, leaving football fields behind to step into the world of reality TV's first queen, Kim Kardashian. By then, Kim wasn't just a name, she was a movement. The girl who turned a leaked tape into a global empire, who made selfies, scandals, and shopping sprees the new Hollywood gospel. And Ronaldo. He was football's billionaire poster boy. The man who turned every stadium into his personal stage. So when gossip blogs first whispered they were spotted together, the world paused. Because when a man who scores for a living meets a woman who sells every moment of her life, you know something wild is about to happen. They met in Madrid. Some say Kim flew there to get away from LA noise. Some say Ronaldo's team arranged it because he liked the idea of being seen with the hottest reality star alive. Either way, they found each other, and for a moment, even the Spanish sun wasn't as hot as the gossip about them. They were seen at La Dorada, an upscale restaurant where nobody cares who you are. Unless you're Cristiano Ronaldo and Kim Kardashian sitting at the same candlelit table, the paparazzi caught blurry shots through glass. Kim was laughing, flipping her hair. Ronaldo leaned in like he'd never heard anything funnier. Two worlds colliding, football royalty and tabloid royalty sharing secrets over lobster and wine. The date didn't end at dinner. They slipped out the back, ducked the flashes, drove through Madrid's midnight streets in Ronaldo's blacked-out car. Where they went next, nobody knows for sure. Some say Kim stayed at his mansion outside the city. Some say it was just a ride back to her hotel. But what everyone knows is that by morning, the pictures were sold to every gossip blog from New York to London. Kim played coy when reporters asked. She told some she was just traveling, just friends. But her smile said she knew exactly what she was doing. Back then, every headline was oxygen for her brand. Dating the world's biggest athlete for a few nights. That was priceless. For Ronaldo, it was the perfect scandal, risky enough to feed the tabloids. Safe enough to forget when training resumed. Their chemistry didn't last long. Kim's life was LA cameras rolling, reality scripts waiting. Ronaldo's life was 6 a.m. training, squeaky clean PR deals, and Real Madrid's billion-dollar expectations. They were never going to last, but for a moment, it made sense. He got a taste of Hollywood. She got another story to fuel her empire. People close to Ronaldo say it was never serious. Just a dinner, maybe more, then goodbye. But some swear Kim called him 4 weeks after, teasing him with promises of LA nights he'd never live down. Ronaldo never came. Maybe he knew one dinner scandal was enough. Maybe he understood Kim Kardashian was the kind of woman you can't ever really manage, not when you're busy managing your own legend. When Kim went back to the States, she went back to more headlines, more shows, more chaos. Ronaldo went back to trophies, endorsements, and the roar of Santiago Bernabeu. For her, it was a spark in a bonfire of scandals. For him, just another untold chapter in a life built on speed, glory, and women who never stayed long enough to matter. But here's the thing about Kim Kardashian, she never really leaves the story. Even now, when people talk about Ronaldo's past, her name flickers like an unsolved riddle. Did they? Didn't they? Does it even matter? The pictures are there. The rumors never died. And that's all Kim ever needed to be unforgettable, even in a superstar's long line of beautiful distractions. Years later, Kim built an empire bigger than scandal itself. She married Kanye, broke the internet, made billions, divorced him, and still owned the spotlight. Ronaldo built a family, found Georgina, made himself a father, and a brand impossible to replace. But somewhere in the glittering mess of reality TV reruns and old gossip archives, there's still that dinner in Madrid, Kim's laugh echoing through a quiet restaurant, Ronaldo's grin caught by a camera he pretended not to see. Two brands sharing a table, two storms passing through each other's skies for one night, then drifting off to build worlds too big to share. And that's how it ended. No heartbreak, no promises, no regrets. Just one night, one rumor, and the proof that sometimes, even the king of football needs the queen of scandal to remind him what headlines are really worth.